What's up, everybody? So in today's video, we're going to go over 5 things that you should not be doing in your manual transmission vehicle. Now, I made this video like a year and a half ago with my 370Z. We have about 80,000 new subscribers since then, so I figured I would remake this video just to show any of you newer manual transmission driving people out there, you know, things you don't want to be doing in your car if you're interested in the longevity of your vehicle. Now, all the things I'm going to be talking about, they're not going to destroy your car if you do it once or twice. It's not going to explode your transmission. But if you are looking for max longevity and just the utmost care of how your vehicle is performing, maximum clutch life, transmission life, and all the stuff like that, you know, these are tips you're going to want to take note to. So with that said, number 1 on the list, your shifter and clutch pedal are not to be used to rest your hands and feet. The shifter is not an armrest or a handrest. When you're driving, don't really get in the habit of keeping your hand on the shifter. You know, it's made to shift gear. You're pushing the transmission into different gears. So if I'm cruising in the car and I have my hand on it, what if I'm pushing it forward just a little bit because I'm not really paying attention? Because if you do that, you could pop yourself out into neutral now, which you don't want to be doing. And also, if you're pushing it with a little bit of pressure, that could be causing the actual transmission some stress because you're pushing the shifting forks on the gears and you could be straining the gears a little bit. So don't really get in the habit of resting your hand on here. If you do it, you know, put the lightest pressure on it and make sure you're not pushing it in any awkward way like that. And same with the clutch pedal. If you get in the habit of resting your foot on the clutch, if you're giving it too much pressure, you could actually be making the clutch slip a little bit as if you're pressing the clutch pedal. And when you are driving your car, if you press the clutch pedal slowly, you can kind of feel it vibrating a little bit. So imagine if you did have a lot of weight on your foot pressing it like that while cruising, you're opening the clutch just a little bit, and while driving, that could actually slip the clutch, causing excessive heat, excessive wear on it. And that's really not something you're going to want to do. You have a dead pedal in your car most likely. Put your foot on that, cruise. When it's time to shift, gear change, hands back on the steering wheel, foot back on the dead pedal, and then you're driving. Number 2 on the list is dumping the clutch when you're downshifting. Now, I'm in 6th gear right now. In order to downshift properly, you want to rev match it. So I'm at about 1500 RPM. If I go to 4th gear now, I know I'm going to be closer to 3000. So when I do that gear change, I'm going to want to give it a little bit of gas just to rev match. That way it's a smooth downshift. Going down into 3rd now, same thing. 2nd, very smooth. So once again, going to 5th, I know I need to be at least 2500, 3000 RPM. We just caught it like that. Going to 4th now, I'm probably going to be over 3000 RPM. And then a downshift again, I'm going to give it just a little bit of gas. One thing a lot of people, and I've driven with a lot of people in manuals who don't ever do any type of rev matching, they'll just put it in gear and dump the clutch. That is really jerky on the car, and it's not good for your clutch. You're basically taking an object that's not spinning, slamming it together with spinning things, putting a lot of heat, a lot of friction on it, and that is really not good for the longevity of the clutch. And if you have any passengers in the car, and if they know anything about cars, they're going to know that you're not that good at driving a manual because you can't even do a smooth downshift. Now, you don't always have to rev match. I like it because it sounds good. It's fun to do. When you do downshift, you can just slowly let out the clutch. So in 5th gear, if I go to 4th, slowly let out the clutch, let it slowly get to the right speed. You're going to put less stress and pressure on the clutch that way. But I would highly recommend get in the habit, just blipping the throttle just a little bit, less than 1000 RPM difference whenever you're downshifting, just to make it smooth, and it does sound pretty good. So number 3 on the list has to do with when you come to a stop in the vehicle. What I like to do, once I get to like 20 miles an hour, put the car in neutral, let my foot off the clutch, use my brake to hold the car. So right now I'm stopped, let's say I'm at a traffic light or even just at a stop sign that has a lot of traffic or something. Get in the habit of just keeping it in neutral and having your foot off the clutch. A lot of people will say you should keep it in gear with your foot on the clutch, but if you have traffic behind you, traffic in front of you, there's no traffic moving, nobody's gonna rear end you at a high speed, so leaving it in neutral with the clutch off is perfectly safe. And honestly, your left leg is just gonna get tired holding the clutch all the way down. And on top of that, you're actually causing more stress on your clutch and mechanisms down there. The throwout bearing is pushing the spring open while you're holding the clutch down. So you're actually holding that spring open, which is causing more stress that you don't need to do. A lot of people say to keep it in gear because if you were to get rear-ended, someone hits you, having your car in gear, the engine's probably going to stall, and that'll help keep the car stationary versus smacking right into the car in front of you if you're in neutral. But in all honesty, I always keep it in neutral whenever I'm at any type of stop, just because I'm always paying attention. If I notice the car behind me is flying, of course I'm going to brace for an impact or something. But for the most part, leave it in neutral. Once you get down below 20 miles an hour, coast in neutral, come to a stop, foot off the clutch, foot on the brake, and just hold yourself. When it's time to move again, you can put it back into gear and start moving. Next up on the list has to do also with a stop. Notice I'm on a hill and I'm rolling backwards. Now, your brakes in your car are 100% designed to stop your car and keep your car from moving. The clutch and engine is actually made to accelerate your car. So what I see a lot of people doing, especially more newer to manual driving people who think it's super cool to do this, they won't use their brake, they'll keep it in gear and kind of just roll the car forward and back at a stop like this. And I've seen people do it. It is annoying. I used to do it when I was 16. I thought it was super cool to rock the car back and forth because in my opinion everyone was thinking, oh man, that dude's super cool in his manual car, what a cool dude. No one's looking at you in all honesty, and all the car guys looking at you are knowing that you're just honestly looking like an idiot. When you're doing that, you're just slipping your clutch the entire time, causing more wear on it. There's no reason to do that. And also, you're moving your car forward and back. It's just a distraction for others. It's annoying on your left leg. Why do that? Just come to a stop, hold yourself. If you're on a hill, hold yourself on the brake. If it's time to go, you can put it into gear and then start to move, give it a little gas, and start rolling. So next on the list has to do with when you're parking your car. When you park your car, make sure to use your emergency brake and don't leave it in neutral. I'm in neutral right now. If I let my foot off the brake, the car is slightly rolling. Even if you're on flat ground, a car can roll away so easily. Anybody can push a car. It's really not that hard. So when you come to a stop, the best thing to do is leave the car in neutral for right now with my foot on the brake, rip the e-brake, and then what you're going to do, take your foot off the brake, put it into gear, and now shut off the vehicle. Now the reason I did it in that orientation is because right now the entire weight of the car is sitting on the parking brake rather than in the transmission. And then when you go back to start the car, fire it up just like normal, pop it in neutral, take the parking brake off. A lot of people will get in the habit of putting it into gear, shutting off the engine, foot off the clutch, foot off the brake. Right now the whole car is actually resting on the transmission. They'll put the e-brake up a little bit, but in all honesty, the transmission is holding the car, which you don't need to put that type of weight on it. The parking brake is made for this sort of thing. It's made to hold the car. Might as well take up that pressure and use the emergency brake. On top of that, and we're going to switch to automatic cars, same thing with an automatic. When you put it into park and let your foot off the brake, you'll notice sometimes your car will roll forward a little bit if you're on a steep hill. Right then and there, your car is actually being parked on your transmission. Same thing with one of them. Leave it in drive, put the emergency brake up with your foot on the brake, then put your car in park and then shut it off. That's just a little bit safer way to go. But those are 5 things you should probably stop doing if you have a manual transmission vehicle. These things are a lot of fun to drive. They are a rare dying breed. Really a unique transmission to drive in these cars, and it really opens up the driving dynamics of a sports car. And if you have a manual transmission vehicle, you probably really enjoy driving it, doing performance things with it. So those are some things to help you enjoy your car for a little bit longer. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a huge thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. See you guys next video.